Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Thursday night. We're almost into Friday. Catastrophic cascading failures. There's two I'm going to talk about in this video. One is our increasing lack of or diminishing law and order. I believe the thin line between relative law and order and outright chaos is getting thinner by the day. And then the other one I'm going to talk about was about some news that came out today that got my blood pressure up, and I'll talk about that. You want to hear about that one. And of course, I'm going to end with an encouraging word, so stay tuned for that. I believe it'll help a lot of you. So the first one is the increasing crime problem is just increasing, and probably on a scale much bigger than we even realize, because a lot of it's probably not even reported. I saw an article about, it was a couple of days ago, that came out, Austin, Texas. What's going on in Austin, Texas? Well, these street racers, you've probably seen video about it, where they're going around, they just take over an intersection or street, a couple of streets, and they're having these races, and they're just going around in circles, endangering. You got these big crowds gathering around them, endangering them, and they put themselves into danger. And he has these huge gatherings, and they just take over, and it backs up traffic everywhere. It usually happens on a weekend night, but the police are just simply outnumbered, and they just can't do anything about it. I mean, so you have total loss of control. You have, at least temporary, without rule of law, literally, in Austin, Texas. And they had one this past weekend where they took over an intersection. This was at Barton Springs Road and South Lamar Boulevard. If you live in that area, you might be aware, near downtown, it sounds like. They're shooting off fireworks, racing cars. A city council person was in this, apparently got mixed up into traffic, called 911 and was on hold for 28 minutes. 28 minutes on hold with 911. So finally, a couple of cars come out, a police car or two come out, and some video that I watched. I mean, it is scary because you got one cop car and you got this huge mob coming at it, and this car has to retreat. This cop car, it can't do nothing. And so they're shooting fireworks at it. They damaged the car. They injured one cop. And they just had to get out of there. So what happened is they're still reeling from the defunding movement that occurred back in 2020. You remember that. And they slashed their budget. And so what happened is police left in droves. And they're still leaving in droves. And so it's leaving this huge shortage, and they can't fill them. They can't fill them all. I read where they have job fairs and they have all these openings, and a few people show up. I mean, I understand. I mean, no duh. Can't pay these people enough probably at this point. So you got a serious failure. You got a serious failure in local leadership right there. Okay, this is a perfect example of what we knew would happen. Similar has happened in other big cities. I know closer to us, Atlanta, they're going through similar issues, but it was a chaotic scene, they said. But on hold with 911 for about 30 minutes, basically. I mean, I think this is this is an incident that I think will become commonplace. And it'll become commonplace in more places than just an intersection. I think it's going to become the norm in a lot of places that you don't expect it to happen. That's my prediction. But it said that since then they've passed a law that reinstated the funding for the police force, but the damage has been done. They're just trying to play catch up and fill these shortages. They still can't do it. And so they've had a lot of damage done. So I think we need to keep preparing on security, personal and home security. Take a look at what you have and where you need to shore up, because it's coming. It's coming to a town near you if it ain't already. I know a lot of you have talked about that. If you're experiencing this where you live, share that. But it's a big problem. So that is a cascading failure, to say the least, at a local level. On a national level, now, all right, buckle up for this one. I saw this a while ago. United States, now this was from the Treasury Secretary Yellen. The United States readies an additional $10 billion in economic assistance to overseas, to you know where. You know where it's going. Well, we don't know where it's going. We know where they're saying it's going, but we don't really know where it's going. Some black hole somewhere. No telling in whose pockets. 10 billion. 10 billion while you have people here being freaking crushed under the weight of all this stuff. Speaking of crush, Prepping by Faith had a really good video earlier today. Check it out. But she talked about the people, citizens, people, families getting crushed by this inflation. And they are. But you're going to send 10 billion over there, more additional to what they've already been sending. While you have people in the streets here, living in the streets, under bridges. Homeless shelters are full. Good luck getting in one of them. Mrs. Dawg was coming home the other day from work, it was 2 days ago, and the little highway, 2-lane highway that our subdivision is located off of, she's driving down there and about to come into the neighborhood, and there's a lady just walking around in the middle of the road and won't get out of the road, like she's under the influence of something, I'm sure. And Ms. Dawg said she had to really work hard to not hit this lady, like this lady kept coming at her, like coming towards the car. And she had to really take evasive action just to get around her and keep going. And that's not far from our neighborhood. And I think this is going to increase. It's going to increase where you are if it hadn't already. We need to prepare for that. We need to prepare for people to be coming through neighborhoods. I really do think that. I mean, we live in a safe, so-called safe place. But it incenses me, and because sending all this money at the same time, you get all this going on over here. Why? The question is, we were talking about this earlier in the house a while ago, in this dog. Why are people not in the streets? And that's my first thought. First thought is it pisses me off. Second thought is, why are people not in the streets with signs, yelling, whatever? But it's probably for the same reason that I'm not out there, is because we're trying to make it, we're trying to work, we're busy, like most people are probably, and that's the reason, I'm sure, is for the most part, is people are busy trying to keep above the water, not get drowned, not get crushed. So we're doing all we can to stay ahead if we can. Maybe save a buck or two, but that's getting very difficult to do now. All we can do just to pay the bills, have a place to live, and have a little food. It's sad, really. I mean, we're trying to do it peacefully, law-abiding, pay our taxes, work, contribute to society, help others, help our families, support our families. We're trying to do it the right way, and we have been. How long is that going to last? How long before the people are just too fed up? When does that happen? When is the breaking point? Are we there? Are we close? Why are they not in the streets? Homeless is getting worse. Homelessness, food banks are hurting. I know in my work, we have a lot of interaction with some food banks because a lot of our clients need it. I was at one today and they were out. Usually they hand out food till 3 o'clock. I got there before that and they said, we're out. It's tough right now. And I told them about a client I was trying to help, and they put together a few little things. And I added to it from what I had. So it did help. It helped them. But they're on the ropes in a lot of places. If you have extra, if you are able, even if it's just a couple of things, I encourage you to donate to food banks around you or church that's taking donations. Every little bit will help. But that's a problem. Homeless shelters. I mean, they're full. I know that for a fact, at least where I am, where I work. Families, I don't know how families are doing it. You got some teenagers especially, or kids. I mean, I don't know how. Really, I don't. Keep stacking. Grow what you can. We're heading into spring pretty soon. Make friends with local farmers, growers, whatever you can. Even people around you. Locals. I think local is going to be key as we go through this. We go through the next 6 months to a year. It's going to be, it could be very, very important. But we got to keep our wits about us. We have to stay focused and still live our life, which kind of leads me into verse of the day is from Jeremiah. This is a good one. It's short and good, but it's good. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 25 says, "For I will satisfy the weary soul, and every languishing soul I will replenish." Amen. A lot of us are tired. A lot of us are stressed. A lot of us are just straight out pissed off. I am when I read some stories like this. But he will replenish us. He will. A lot of us are feeling weary. We must keep preparing and do the things. We must do the good things and keep doing it. Be the good example. That's what we're called to do. No, I am. No, we are here. Share your thoughts. Stay safe. God bless you. I'll see you soon.